Hello, I come to you today with a tag. It's the Mood Book tag. This was originally created by Brittany over at Slanted Spines, and I first saw it done by Katrina at Dejection Cat Reads, which is very on brand for the Mood Book Reader tag, I guess. So yeah, I was in the mood for a tag, and I saw this tag, so I decided I'll do this tag. So question number one, do you consider yourself a mood reader? Yes, I do consider myself a mood reader in that I do and I don't consider myself a mood reader. I actually have a couple of projects that are going this year. I'm reading one trollop novel a month. At one point that was set by Steve Donahue over at Steve Donahue, but it's now become in his Lonely Trollop read-along where we're reading kind of one standalone novel of Anthony Trollope throughout the year of 2020. Steve sort of put that down, but I've kept on going with that. So I usually get to the end of the month and I'll pick whatever trollop I'm going to read. I am reading the Barsoom novels of Edgar Rice Burroughs, the fantasy science fiction novels of John Carter getting transported to Mars and having great short swashbuckling adventures and rescuing the princesses over and over and over again. So for somebody who doesn't really have TBR, I actually have had kind of 24 books through this year that I've been reading. I guess I have a set reading thing for that. But other than that, I would say, yeah, I just sort of pick up what I'm feeling like at the time. If I'm feeling like a light book, I'll pick up a light book. If I'm feeling like a heavier book or science fiction or fantasy or, or literature or all that, I'll just sort of kind of go where it goes with that. Or even sometimes some nonfiction in there. Do you set TBRs and do you stick to them? I guess that's my only TBRs is the Trollope novels and the Edgar Rice Burroughs novels, and that's been a horrible burden for this year, and probably past this year I will not really have TBRs. I'm not somebody who does TBR videos. That's because I don't particularly do TBRs in the first place. Number three, do books affect you emotionally? It's like, why the hell else? My reaction to that is very emotional. It's like, why the hell else would I be reading books if they didn't affect me emotionally? Emotionally and intellectually, but emotional intellectual reaction hopefully is what comes out of most of my out of my book reading. Number four, when you're feeling sad, do you like to read sad, happy, or neutral books? I don't know if it's sad, happy, or neutral books as much as I think when I am sad, when I am stressed, I probably can't read as challenging of books. I will probably read lighter books, so maybe more genre-ish books when I am kind of sad or stressed. Definitely seem to have read a lot more genre books this year for some reason, in the year 2020, than in other past years in the recent past. I mean, when I was a teenager and I was completely miserable all the time, yeah, I completely only read genre books. So yeah, that would be my answer. It's lighter books, but I don't know if they're emotionally, well, I don't know, literature books that they have a tendency to get much more mopey than genre books. So yeah, definitely later. Number five, most often do you use reading to escape, learn, or critically critically reflect? And I would say I escape and I learn and I most definitely critically all three. It has to be all three. Even in the silliest kind of most vapid book, I like to dig in and look at it, kind of a social context of it, and like, what does it say about our society that this is our escapism as I'm escaping and as I'm hopefully learning. Number six, what is a book that made you laugh out loud? I don't know if I laugh out loud for a lot of books. I mean, I think of someone like Christopher Moore. And this one definitely probably made me laugh out loud. Fluke, which is a bizarre book that changes genres in the middle and just has some really kind of bawdy, ha ha ha, kind of that kind of humor. I have to say, for the most part, though, like these Christopher Moore, definitely your American, humorous author. Probably, like I think of like Douglas Adams, as somebody who I definitely did. But I actually also really like kind of the British dry humor, and that's got to be like Stella Gibson's 1932 novel, A Cold Comfort Farm, where a city girl comes to the squalid, it's making fun of kind of the squalid, kind of romanticized, doomed country life, and she comes there to basically solve all their problems in a way that is making fun of all the kind of the dumb cliches we have about the city and the country divide, and it just kind of rips that apart, and it is really really kind of dryly humorous and savage, which the British are really good at savage humor, savage, dry, that kind of humor, which is probably more about kind of like laughing inwardly, but that's probably what most of the time I think I get books are really good at, versus something like, I guess a slapstick film where their media is a bit more, you're laughing out loud, kind of that sort of thing. Number 7, what is a book that made you cry? And it says, like, if you don't cry, one that moved you. But yeah, there's definitely books that make me cry. This was a book I've held up a lot. It would be Christian Lavensdatter, and the end of this book, it was like losing a very very close relative. Your friend, because you're following Christian Lavensdatter throughout this novel. This is a Norwegian novel. That was originally published in like the 1920s, I believe it is. God, she was born, Sigrid Undstedt, born in Denmark in 1882, and we start off with, oh God, okay, we start off with the wreath, and 1920s, yeah. I seem to have some 1920s fixation on this one with Cold Comfort Farm, and then with Kristen Lavensdatter. It's just it's set in a medieval Norway, but you get to know Kristen Lavensdatter in such a deep and intimate way that finishing this book killed me. That definitely killed me. Yeah. Thank you, Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse for that. Yeah. And what is a book that you don't know how you felt about after? And the most recent example of that is The Mirror and the Light, which I'm still sort of reviewing, and I'm still like, this is a Hilary Mantel's Thomas Cromwell series trilogy, where I read Wolf Hall, and I was like, I don't know if I like Wolf Hall, and I put it down, and I did not go back. I did not try the rest, the next book that came out, and then this came out, and Jason Old Blues Chapter and Verse started talking it up and saying, hey, let's read the whole series through. And I went, okay, well, maybe I'll try Wolf Hall again, because a lot of people really love Wolf Hall, and I really enjoyed Wolf Hall a lot more, and I really enjoyed Bring Up the Bodies. And then I got to The Mirror and the Light, and I don't know if it's me. It might be me. It might just be me again. I had the issue with Wolf Hall, and I just don't know how I feel about this book. I don't know if I consider it as a success. I don't know if I just feel like she went a little too long. And that might just be me. That might just be me. It's a book I don't know about. I'm still thinking about. It's one of those books you're going like, oh God, I can see me rereading this entire trilogy, this book here being very, very thick, feeling very, very thick, talking about kind of dense books when you're feeling really stressed. I was reading this. I picked this up as my bookstore was closing for the first wave of the pandemic. We're heavy into the second wave at this point in November. And I don't think I'll be rereading it anytime soon. I'm going to try and find myself a space where I could maybe properly appreciate this, because I don't know how I feel about this. This is, if you talk about moods, it's like, was I in the wrong mood when I read this? It was really fun to do it with everybody, that we could, because I think a lot of people kind of ground to a halt there with the pandemic happening. People had a lot of trouble with their reading. Talk about affecting people's moods. That was a group experience of how people were able to process, how people were able to use their reading at that time. And it was like, that was really tough. That was really tough. And I mean, it continues to be tough. And, it's one of those things where, sometimes reading isn't the most important thing. And, you just got to deal with, what's here and the people around you that you love and all that stuff. And sometimes you have to put the books aside and say, okay, maybe I'll come back to that in a better mood, or a different, more a mood where you're better able to concentrate. And maybe I'll still think that she didn't quite pull it off, or maybe I'll be like that time. But I'm sure I'll probably be on here sharing that with you if it does. So yeah. Number 9. Are you more likely to read on a sunny or a cloudy day? I live on the west coast of Canada, on Vancouver Island in Victoria, and it's raining most of the time now in wintertime. I read whether it's sunny. I would read whether it is raining. It does not matter one iota to me. That does not affect. That if that affected my reading, I'd be I'd either get a lot of reading done in the rainy seasons, or I would not get much done in the sunshine. But I'm also have this pallid skin, and basically I fall over in the sunshine, so I have to be in the shade anyway. So no, it doesn't have much of effect on me. Number 10, do you usually set the mood when you read? Music, lights, smells. I make sure there's good lighting so I can read the book. No, I don't. I have, when I'm writing, I will have kind of wordless music playing on kind of a low level, but, not while I'm reading, smells, probably wet dog smell, because it's the wet coast and I have dogs. So wet dog smell. Yeah. Nothing says reading like wet dog smell. Maybe a cup of tea, good lighting, so I can read with my weak old eyes. Number 11, can you leap from book to book, or do you need buffer time between? Well, I read multiple books at a time. Usually it's like I've got an audio book on the go. I've got an ebook on the go. At the moment, I've got this weird project where I'm reading a book out loud to myself as well, which is kind of another interesting way of processing books. The good thing about having a booktube channel is that a part of me reading a book now is then standing here and talking about the book, or processing it that way. And I think that's how I finish a book. That's the true bit of me. Okay, I'm going to put that book away now. It's in my head, but I can carry that around for a good while. I've got a review of Lady Anna that has been knocking around my head for about 2 weeks now, which is kind of getting late on that, which I need to get down. So yeah, that's my buffer time is making a review, talking about the book out loud. So yeah, that is the Mdy book tag. Thank you, Brittany, for making this tag. And thank you for Katrina over at Dejection Cat Reads, for doing a really great version. And I'll put links to both, Dejection Cat Reads and Slanted Spines, down there, and maybe up here and all over the place. And you can also maybe give the thing a try. What mood are you in right now? Maybe you'd like to do a tag. All right, more videos later.